Hi there. Thanks for tuning into Town Meeting TV's coverage of Town Meeting Day 2026. My name is Bobby Lucier, and this program is a part of a series of budget presentations and candidate forums that are hosted by Town Meeting TV in advance of Town Meeting Day this year, which is Tuesday, March 3rd. These forums are made possible by Town Meeting TV's generous underwriters. Thank you so much to these folks. You can find all of our forums at cctv.org/TMD2026 or on Town Meeting TV's YouTube channel, where auto-generated captions are available. And if you're tuning in on YouTube, go ahead and click the subscribe button to stay tuned to local democracy this election season. On tonight's program, we'll be speaking with Mayor Thomas Renner and City Manager Elaine Wong from Winooski to talk about the city budget and what voters can expect to see on the Winooski city ballot. So yeah. Thomas and Elaine, thanks so much for being here.
Hey, thank you so much for having us. Always appreciate coming in.
Thank you guys for being here. If you are tuning in live, we also welcome your questions. You can call in after we'll hear a bit of a presentation, and then you can call us at 802-862-3966 if you have any questions for Thomas or Elaine. If you call in, we'll do our best to prioritize your question, though we'll also screen calls to make sure that questions are not repeated, and we ask that you just share your name, town you live in, and ask us your question. So let's jump in. Thomas, do you want to tell us a bit about the city budget for 2027?
Certainly will, yeah. So budget season again, here we are. So tonight I'll be talking about our 2026-2027 proposed budget, which voters will be able to vote on March 3rd. And as a reminder, in Winooski, all residents are able to vote regardless of citizenship status. So we hope to see you at the polls. So on the agenda, we will be talking about Winooski's strategic vision. I'll present our proposed budget, upcoming items and details that folks will need for Town Meeting Day. And just to start off, to not keep anybody in any suspense tonight, the tax increase that City Council is proposing to the voter is 7.92%. So, in Winooski, everything that our team, that our council does is guided by our strategic vision that was put into place in 2015. These themes continue to be relevant today, maintaining and expanding our economic vitality, investing in municipal infrastructure, ensuring a mix of quality housing, and fostering a safe and healthy community. Since our initial vision setting, we've spent a lot of time creating plans to support that vision and have since focused on how to achieve the community vision of affordability and with equity top of mind in everything that we do. Forgot that I'm doing the slides here too. So
does it all.
So for FY27, the achievements towards our vision, they're up on the screen here for you folks to see. But over the past year, we've advanced big community projects, important housing policy, and worked on community initiatives as well. What you're seeing here is just a brief snapshot of the work that we've done. One thing I'll talk about that I think has been on almost anybody's mind if they have traveled through Winooski.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Bobby, seems like might have been on your mind a few times.
Oh, yeah.
We've had a huge project, our Main Street project, and although very exciting and we're very happy with the progress that has come, it's been a long while. So we're in the second year of construction. Neighbors can now see, and anybody driving through Winooski can really see the vision of that critical project, right? You can actually see what it's going to look like when it's done, hopefully in this next construction season. But there have been huge upgrades in our water and stormwater and wastewater systems, which is just so needed to make sure that Winooski is able to continue on all of the goals that we have for it in the future. There's also going to be improved sidewalks out there. If you'd ever walked up Main Street before, the sidewalks were narrow. It wasn't necessarily the most, I'll say, like appealing walk in the city. So we're really happy that that's going successfully and coming to an end soon. I'd like to take this moment now to just thank all of the businesses who were impacted during the construction season. You know, we know that they were really weathering it out together and with us, and also just for anybody who was passing through Winooski during that time, especially that first year. We know that it was a lot, but we're glad everyone stuck with us as we move forward on that important project. So let's talk a little bit more about what the municipal property tax rate will actually look like. So we started our budget this year with a lot of deferred maintenance in mind. We asked staff for a strategic investment into this budget, as well as giving us a list of backlog items. So this slide shows the impact on a tax bill of the budget that City Council has adopted and that we'll be putting forward to voters. So as you'll see, if your home is assessed at $413,100, the tax bill would be $3,493.59. Sorry, that's your current tax bill. We're proposing the 7.92% tax increase, so that would be $256.54. With every year that comes by, there are cost increases across all of the different city funds, so that includes our water rate and our wastewater rate, which you can see there combined would be $83.50. So the total impact for your FY27 municipal budget on a home assessed at that $413,000 value is $340.04. As a note, this is your municipal portion of your tax bill, so this doesn't include the education fund, which I believe they were here last week talking about the education budget. So take a look at that to get all of this together. So this next slide here is one that I think really helps residents break down what that 7.92 tax rate actually includes. So we'll see at the far left in the light blue, we have benefits, salaries and benefits, which is the biggest part of our budget, and I think should be. Our staff are the folks who supply services, help residents, so we have to obviously pay them and provide them with benefits, so that takes up a big chunk, but that's pretty common, and I think most budgets, whether it's city budgets or private business budgets as well. To the right of that, in the orange, is our capital plan increase. So this will cover all of our FY27 needs per what our staff is able to supply, given their capacity. Then we'll see the gray, that's strategic new staff capacity. So what that is it's a new fire position that will add capacity to public building inspections and emergency response. A summer-only staff person who will be dedicated to park maintenance, and then moving the current part-time senior center director to a full-time position to allow for additional programming. And then also adding a 5th dispatcher to improve public safety operations. To the right of that, you'll then see the yellow. That's contract increases and inflation costs. This share is actually larger than it has been in recent years. It includes things like general and specialty supplies, utilities, building maintenance, professional services, vehicle and equipment maintenance. It also includes downtown Winooski and Green Mountain Transit. And finally, that last 8% that you see there is our decreased revenues.
So is that making up for decreased revenue sources that went down from year to year?
Correct.
Right, that's correct, yeah.
Do we know what those are?
I don't have those top of mind.
So what your municipal property tax rate pays for. And again, another good slide that I love that we do up every year for this presentation so that you can see all of the different things that $3,494 will actually end up paying for. So I'll just go down the list here. So of that $3,494, $1,056 will go towards the police department, $575.46 will go towards the capital, $542.30 will go towards general admin, public works would be $469.78, community services $391.74, fire $250.79, and contracts $207.51. Police always looks really large, and people will wonder, why is there such a big jump from some of the other departments up to police? It's the only department that is 24/7. right? So we have to make sure that anytime that you would need to call a police officer, there will be somebody available at the other end of that phone. So it's the only department that we staff 24/7. So that's why there is so much more percentage of that property tax included there every year. So what's new in this budget? So I touched on some of these things earlier, but an additional fire captain. So we really have noticed over I don't know if it's a few years now that we've needed some additional capacity for public building inspections and emergency response. So we're proposing that. Again, the increase to the senior center director to a full-time position. This was something that we've been talking about on council actually for a really long time, just recognizing that we would like to provide more programming in the senior center, and maybe not just for seniors, for anybody who might want to use any of the programming that is there. So we're really excited actually about moving this to a full-time position. A fifth dispatcher. We're increasing health reimbursement accounts funding for employees. A grant match program for traffic calming studies. Again, if you've driven through Winooski, as you do, Bobby, you may have witnessed, some traffic issues, and in order to really get to the bottom of those, we need to study them and find out what's going on. So our staff found this great grant that would need us to front $15,000 in order to do that. So we're excited for that too. That seasonal park maintenance staff that I talked about earlier, an increase in our council stipend. This has gone unchanged for 25 years. One of the former mayors mentioned to me the other day, and it was actually something that was brought to us by a member of the public. Council hadn't thought about doing that this year, but after some deep discussion, mostly for equity reasons, we thought it would be appropriate, especially for thinking of future councils and future people who may want to run for the office.
So the total stipend now is double that amount?
So the total stipend, it's different
Half that amount,
yeah,
yes.
it's half that amount for all of us.
Okay.
I forget the actual number, but it's about $1,500 a year for counselors. Mayor gets paid a little more, but I forget what it is. 1,700. Yeah, haven't had the job for that long, so I don't. But yeah, we wanted to give it a little boost. We recognize that adding this 7,700 doesn't completely eliminate equity barriers, but it's a step to try to help for sure.
And it's worth just repeating, so
Yeah.
the mayor of Winooski is not a paid position.
Correct, yeah.
It's a stipended position, $1,700.
Yeah, for the year, yeah.
And the mayor's put in a lot of time.
Yeah.
So you can see how somebody who needs to have a full-time job or even have childcare, needs taken care of, they wouldn't be able to serve.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks for clarifying.
A livable wage adjustment, so just boosting some of our staff up to $22.50 an hour. Again, something very important to this council. National Fire Protection Associated Level Physical Examinations. That's a mouthful, but essentially firefighters are required on a national level to have certain physicals done so that they can be firefighters and join a fire squad. So we wanted to make sure that we were able to do that as a national requirement. A human resource information system, and then an increase for translation services, which, in Winooski is very important. We do have money there right now, but this is just giving a little extra boost just to make sure that staff is able to do all of the translation needs that the community may require. Didn't know if you had a question there. I saw something formulated.
No.
Okay. All right.
That's all great. Thank you for unpacking all that, Thomas.
So we'll move on to some other things that you're going to see on your ballot this town meeting day. You'll also see some bond votes. One thing that a lot of folks probably know is the elevator in the Cascade Garage has needed some work for a long time. It hasn't worked for, I'm not sure how many years, but it's been years.
It's been spotty for several years.
Yeah, so we are going to be proposing that to the voter through bond vote. Also, East Spring Street sidewalk expansion. Again, if you've ever driven up or tried to walk up East Spring Street, you'll know that you can't really walk up there very safely because there is no sidewalk. And this is something that we've been hearing from the community for years and years, because it's a logical connector for folks to want to be able to walk along. And people do, but it's very dangerous. So another bond vote that folks will be seeing this town meeting day. And then the City Hall and the police department renovation. I don't know if you've seen in the news recently, Bobby, there was a story about the police department and just some of the, it's an old building and there was some issues with asbestos and some mold. Also just kind of, in general, if you ever go down there, you really feel this place needs a full revamp. So that's what we're hoping, that the taxpayer will agree with us, and also City Hall again hasn't been touched in a while, so we're just hoping for a nice little facelift in kind of a way to be done for City Hall. But this is really important. I think Winooski deserves to have a City Hall and a police department that looks like it is of this century at the very least. And it's also important for our staff. Our staff spend long hours in both of those spaces, and we want to make sure that they're working in conditions that we would want to work in as well. So really excited about those bond votes. It's things that we've talked about again for a long time. So we're glad to be putting this forward to the taxpayer.
Okay, so we've got the renovations, we've got a sidewalk, and then what was the other one?
Garage.
The garage. So can you remind us just how bond votes, when a voter says yes to a bond, how does that impact their tax load?
Yeah, and Elaine may want to help me a little bit on this one, but essentially it gives the city the ability to request a bond, to request a loan, essentially, to pay for those items that the taxpayer would then pay for later, as you or I would pay for a loan for a home, for example. But
yeah, that's exactly right. So the bond payments would not land in fiscal year 2027. We need the authorization from the voters first. And then when the project is about ready to get going, then we would request a bond be issued, and then the payments would kick in. So the payments for these three projects would be part of our capital plan. So they'll be built into, they're already built into the forecast for what we need to pay from the capital fund out of taxpayer dollars.
Got it. So if these bonds are passed, then there's another vote to actually issue the bonds, or no?
No, that wouldn't be a vote. The authorization is done once by the voters. Okay. It's just a matter of it's an administrative step for us to actually request the bond be issued.
Right. Okay. And then do you have a sense of how much the annual
the payments
what the impact will be on the taxpayer if these bonds are passed?
I don't have that offhand, actually.
So we're talking, it's a little under $1 million for the largest one there.
Yep.
And then you talked about your capital plan. That's over a number of years moving forward.
Correct. Yeah.
Is that being spread over? Is it 5 years, 10 years, 30 years?
So most of the bonds are 20 or 30 years.
Okay.
So what would happen is we understand that the total impact to the taxpayer, we don't want it to balloon from year to year. And so when we're trying to map out, that's why we have a capital plan, because we want to spread it out over time, and we don't want to pack everything in 1 year and then all of a sudden your tax bill goes from $50 to $1,000. So we take that all into account when we're doing the long range planning.
Right. Thank you for explaining that. Appreciate it.
Our capital plan, we just like to include this slide here mainly so that folks know we do have plans for street paving and sidewalks. It's one of those things, everybody on their street, right, thinks that their street needs to be replaced quickly and is maybe the only street that needs to be replaced, and have work done on it. As you can see in this map, we've got a lot of colors here. The green being good, the black being failed. Thankfully, we don't have anything in the failed category. But essentially what we do is we take those streets that we see definitely are in need of the work. Our Public Works Department tries to include a lot of other things too, like if there's sewer maintenance or work that needs to happen at that time, they'll try to overlap those projects. If there's any other kind of types of construction that are going to be going on in the area. And then essentially they map everything out and set when they are hoping that they can get to that. And that will include a lot of things. The Main Street, for example, took up a lot of staff work. So some of the things they wanted to get to this year, they may not have been able to get to as much of it or got to it at all. But there is a plan, so I like for residents to remember that. So Town Meeting Day isn't just, you're not just voting for a budget that day. We've got a lot of things that folks are going to see. They will be voting on the city and school budgets. Then there's going to be 3 council seats, one with a 1-year term and 2 with a 2-year term, 1 mayor seat for a 1-year term, the 3 bond votes. And then there's also school board seats, so 1, 2, and 3-year terms, and a Winooski School District Treasurer. So there is a lot that voters get to vote on. I can't wait to see how big the ballot is going to be this year. And then again, if you are 18 years or older and you live in Winooski, you can vote in Winooski regardless of your citizenship status. So we hope, again, that we will see you there. And then, you know, I alluded to at the beginning of this, we asked staff to see a backlog of projects. We didn't address them all in this budget. We actually, if you ever had the chance of watching any of our Winooski City budgets conversations, we have this amazing giant Excel sheet that our Director of Finance creates for us, which is amazing. And on it, she put a lot of the backlog. And, you know, at the beginning of our discussion, I said, can you just say that we're going to fund all of those things? And the tax rate was 34% if we had done that. So we worked our way down from there. But there's still a lot of items here that we're showing on your screen, and this isn't even the complete list of things that are still in the backlog. But I like to show this so that folks can know there's still work that we need to do in the city. There's still things that will come up in future budgets and that we will ask of you. You know, and some of them are pretty big numbers. You know, deferred maintenance for long-term water lines, $11 million. That's a hefty thing right there. An economic development director, something that we've talked about for many years. Again, adding staff is very expensive. Rotary Park fountain repair. The Rotary Park, you may have noticed the big rock sculpture. It's not a sculpture, it's actually a fountain, but it's quite pricey to fix. So there's a lot of things that we'd like to do, and I like to remind the community that we can't get to all of it every year, but we've got a plan and a hope to get to things at least.
Yeah, that's really helpful to see that there, you know, as much as there are some increases in the budget, there's a lot that also needs done that was left out to keep things affordable. Do you have anything else you've got?
I've just got the ask to vote, yeah, and a reminder that the polling location is the Senior Center, and polls are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on March 3rd.
Yes, please get out and vote. And so, Thomas, you are the mayoral seat in Winooski. You're running for a 1-year term, but that's not the typical term, right?
Correct, yeah. So when Mayor Christine Lott stepped down, she technically still had time left in her term. So the way we do it in Winooski is if there's still time to fill out at Town Meeting Day, whoever runs and wins that seat would fill out that term and then would run again when the full term, or somebody will run again when the full term comes up.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's helpful to understand.
Yeah.
And we've got a couple minutes left here. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to add about Town Meeting Day, or what's going on, what you guys are working on at the city right now?
Yeah, I wanted to mention that people can request absentee ballots. You don't have to vote in person if you're not comfortable. You can certainly still request that from the city clerk's office. You can email clerk@winooskivt.gov, or you can call the office at 802-655-6410. That's on the screen now. That phone number and the email address is on the second row there.
And could you remind people when the community dinner is?
Oh, yes, thank you. Great idea. So we are welcoming folks to learn about the budgets, but more importantly, have some fun and have some free food and build some community. It'll be at the school district on Tuesday, February 3rd, which is this coming Tuesday. And it's the Community Winter Supper. There'll be games and activities and art and lots of information tables, and lots of folks around to help you understand the city and the school budget. So hope to see you there.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And can you just remind folks, and we know the bridge project is coming at some point. Can you remind us what the timeline is on that big project?
Indeed. There's some exploratory work that's already been happening, but construction should be starting in 2027 and is projected to finish in 2030.
Okay.
So we know there's a lot of anxiety about that, but we've got some marketing plans. We've got some good, engineers on the job. So yeah, it should be, it'll be a great investment to match the Main Street once we're done. Yep.
Awesome. And any other big construction stuff that folks should know about coming down the pike?
Yeah, actually, now that you mention it, so the sidewalk project that the mayor mentioned is at the intersection of East Allen, Hood Street, and Spring Street, East Spring Street. So that intersection is actually getting upgraded around the same time to coincide with the bridge project, and that's because that way is going to be the official detour. And so they needed to put something signalized there anyway, and so they agreed to do something that was going to be permanent, because we've done a study as the city a long time ago that the best intervention there for safety is a signal. So they're just putting in the permanent signal there, which is fantastic, because that's at no cost to the city taxpayers. So it makes sense to vote yes on this bond now for the sidewalk, because it'll save a little money, because then the state can manage both projects at the same time.
Awesome, cool. Thank you guys for everything tonight. Thomas Renner, Mayor Thomas Renner, and City Manager Elaine Wong, thank you both so much for unpacking the ballot. Thank you
for being here.
For tuning in to Town Meeting TV's ongoing coverage of Town Meeting Day 2026. You can find this forum and many more at cctv.org/TMD2026 or on our YouTube channel. And of course, don't forget to cast your ballot on or before March 3rd, and then you can tune in to Town Meeting TV's results recap show that evening at 7 o'clock. And you can contact your local clerk, or you can reach out to, probably reach out to Elaine, or your local clerk to find out more about how to obtain a ballot and register to vote. And a reminder that in Winooski you can vote if you are a resident of Winooski, regardless of whether you are a citizen. And I think that's all we got. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for being here, and have a great night.